Right now, NASA is preparing a mission that sounds like it came out of science fiction. A small robotic spacecraft called Link is about to chase down the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory, grapple it in orbit, and raise it higher before the atmosphere slowly pulls it back toward Earth. That sounds dramatic because it is. Swift is not a dead satellite drifting in silence, it is a working space observatory that has spent years helping scientists catch some of the universe's fastest and most violent events, from gamma-ray bursts to sudden X-ray flares. But even great spacecraft do not live forever. Swift flies in low Earth orbit, where the thin upper atmosphere still creates drag, and over time that drag lowers its altitude little by little until re-entry becomes inevitable. That is why this mission matters so much. If Link succeeds, it will not just save one telescope. It will prove that commercial robotic spacecraft can meet a NASA satellite that was never designed for service and still perform a delicate rescue in orbit. The launch itself is almost as remarkable as the mission. Link is set to ride a Northrop Grumman Pegasus XL rocket attached to the belly of the Stargazer aircraft, taking off from Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands. That airborne launch profile gives the mission a different kind of energy. Instead of a giant pad liftoff, the rocket is released from an aircraft high above the ocean, then ignites and pushes the servicing spacecraft into orbit. Once Link reaches space, the hard work begins. It must find Swift, approach it carefully, match its orbit, and then close the gap without bumping the telescope or sending it spinning out of control. That is the part that turns this from a simple launch into a precision robotics test. Rendezvous in orbit is already difficult, but rendezvous with a non-cooperative target is another level entirely. Swift does not have the docking ports, robotic handles, or service fixtures that modern spacecraft can plan for. It was built in an earlier era, when the expectation was that observatories would be launched, used, and eventually replaced. That makes this a test of software, sensors, and patience. Link has to identify Swift, track its motion, align itself in 3 dimensions, and perform the kind of gentle capture that would make a gymnast proud and a systems engineer nervous. If it works, Link will slowly raise Swift's altitude over the course of several months. That gradual push is important because the observatory does not need a dramatic tow, it needs enough orbital energy to stay above the drag that would otherwise drag it down. That is an elegant solution to an old space problem. Instead of watching a still useful telescope become space debris, NASA and Catalyst Space are trying to buy it more time to keep doing science. And that science still matters. Swift is one of the key observatories in NASA's fleet for catching sudden cosmic explosions and tracking high-energy phenomena that flash and fade too quickly for slower telescopes to study. In that sense, the mission is not just about hardware. It is about preserving a scientific instrument that helps astronomers understand the most violent corners of the universe, from collapsing stars to energetic transients that announce themselves for only a moment. The symbolism is powerful too. For decades, we have mostly treated satellites as disposable once they run low on fuel or sink too low. This mission asks a different question: what if orbiting machines can become maintainable infrastructure instead of one-and-done hardware? That shift could reshape the economics of space. If spacecraft can be refueled, moved, inspected, or boosted, then mission planners can design for longer lives, lower replacement costs, and more flexible operations. It could also change how we think about risk. A mission that can repair or rescue assets in orbit is a mission that can recover from failure instead of writing off a telescope, a communications satellite, or a future science platform. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. Orbiting captures are dangerous, and a mistake could damage Swift, strand Link, or leave both vehicles in a worse position than before. That is why this is being watched so closely. Success would demonstrate a brand new class of commercial servicing capability, but failure would still teach engineers a great deal about the limits of autonomous orbital operations. The mission is also a reminder that space exploration is not only about the spectacular moments we see on launch day. Sometimes the most important progress is quiet, careful, and technical, like nudging an observatory a few hundred kilometers higher so it can keep working. There is also a broader historical echo here. Human beings have already learned how to service some spacecraft, most famously the Hubble Space Telescope, but those missions depended on astronauts and were planned from the beginning. Link is different. It is trying to capture an uncrewed NASA spacecraft that was never built with servicing in mind, and do it robotically, commercially, and in a way that could be repeated for future missions. That is why this story feels like a threshold. We may be watching the moment when satellites stop being treated like fragile throwaways and start being treated more like machines in a workshop. If that future arrives, the value goes far beyond Swift. Deep space observatories, Earth monitoring satellites, communications platforms, and even future lunar infrastructure could all benefit from the idea that orbit is not a dead end, but a place where maintenance is possible. There is a practical reason this matters even beyond the telescope itself. Every kilogram launched into space is expensive, and every spacecraft that can be extended by months or years delays the need for a replacement mission. In a future where launch schedules are crowded and budgets are finite, making hardware last longer may be as important as building new hardware. Swift is a perfect test case because it still has a job to do. Some observatories are limited not by age alone, but by altitude, fuel, or orbit geometry, which means a small boost can unlock a surprising amount of extra science time. That is especially valuable when a telescope is good at catching short-lived events that cannot be predicted in advance. The technical challenge is also a lesson in autonomy. A spacecraft like Link has to work in a world where everything is moving, no two orbits are identical for long, and the target may respond unpredictably. That makes guidance, navigation, and control the real stars of the show, even if viewers focus on the dramatic capture. And then there is the issue of trust. If agencies and operators can trust a servicing spacecraft to approach carefully and work safely, they can start designing missions around supportability instead of abandonment. That would be a huge cultural shift, because space engineers have spent decades accepting that most assets are effectively one-way machines. The same logic reaches into commercial space economics. Communication satellites, weather satellites, and science platforms all become more valuable when operators believe they can be kept alive longer. That can lower replacement pressure, reduce orbital clutter, and encourage designs that assume maintenance from day one rather than a race against the end of propellant. For scientists, the benefit is even more direct. A telescope like Swift can respond to sudden bursts of energy that may last minutes or hours, and if the platform dies too soon, those events vanish forever. Saving the observatory means preserving a listening post for a universe that rarely repeats itself on human schedules. There is also something deeply human about this kind of mission. We are used to the idea that a machine works until it breaks, then we replace it. In space, replacement is hard, slow, and expensive, so repair becomes not just a nice option but a philosophical one. Can we treat our creations as worth rescuing? If Link succeeds, future missions could arrive with service in mind from the start. Satellites might carry grapple points, refueling interfaces, standardized handles, or modular components that make later maintenance normal rather than exceptional. What is extraordinary today could become routine tomorrow, and that would change the design language of the entire space industry. So when you hear that a small spacecraft is going after an aging observatory, remember that the story is bigger than one telescope. It is a test of whether humanity can extend its reach not just by going farther, but by taking better care of the tools already in orbit. There is another reason this mission feels so urgent. The skies are becoming busier, the stakes are becoming higher, and every successful servicing flight teaches engineers how to keep complex systems alive in the same crowded orbital lanes where we already depend on navigation, weather, research, and communications. It also matters because this kind of rescue is the opposite of waste. Instead of turning a functioning observatory into debris when it starts to drift, engineers are trying to preserve value, preserve capability, and preserve the science returned from a machine that still has useful years left in it. For now, the most important thing is the demonstration itself. If Link can find Swift, dock with the problem, and give it the push it needs, it will turn a one-off emergency into a blueprint for a whole new class of orbital maintenance. So yes, this is a rescue mission. But it is also a prototype for a different kind of space economy, one where robots can extend the life of expensive assets and keep science alive longer than anyone once thought possible. And that is what makes the Link mission so compelling. It is not just about saving one telescope from re-entry. It is about proving that humanity can learn to repair its tools in orbit, and that the sky above us is becoming a place where we can do more than launch and hope. If Link succeeds, the telescope will keep looking outward, and the rest of us will get a glimpse of a future where space hardware is no longer doomed to be disposable. It will be a small push with enormous consequences. Because sometimes the next giant leap in space is not a new rocket or a new planet. Sometimes it is the quiet, controlled act of catching something already in orbit and giving it one more chance to do its job.